Hello, as part of the Recruitment of Policy Leaders 2020-2021 campaign, we are happy to have alumni of the program, like ourselves, share more information on the program itself, as well as a bit of our personal experiences. So my name is Sunny Upal. I joined the Government of Canada through RPL in 2012, and I'm currently the Director responsible for innovation and youth engagement at Environment and Climate Change Canada.
And my name is Alexis Wagner. I'm the manager of the Food and Beverage Processing Sector team at Innovation, Science and Economic Development Canada. And I'm going to start by giving you an overview of the Recruitment of Policy Leaders program. So the Recruitment of Policy Leaders brings new talent into the federal public service in a really unique way. And how it works is that really accomplished Canadians are brought in at a higher level than most other post-secondary recruitment opportunities. The RPL aims to bring a diversity of skills, expertise, and professional experiences into the Canadian government's policy community.
So what is RPL? The Recruitment of Policy Leaders program is a flagship recruitment program for the federal public service. It recruits accomplished Canadians with energy, knowledge, and passion to contribute to policy. And the exciting thing is that when this program was created over a decade ago, there was a recognition that there was a need for a high caliber of candidates to come in and address some of our most complex policy challenges. What's great is that has not changed, and that's why the program is still here. It inverts the typical hiring process in government where we find the candidates first. So unlike your traditional setting where you go on to jobs.gc.ca and apply for an arbitrary position, here we find you. And by doing that, we're then able to figure out what job in the public service would best fit you, whether it's your interests, your expertise, or an area that you wish to work in more detail. It also puts you in mid to senior level policy positions across government. And the best way to explain what we mean by mid to senior is, like in other government organizations, we have a scale for policy level positions, and it traditionally goes from a 2 to a 7. And RPL candidates, when they're successfully placed, are put within the 5 to 7 range. So in essence, your career within the policy track is accelerated by virtue of this program. So if you are interested in developing solutions to complex issues, advising senior officials on some of the most complex challenges that we're facing, and working on diverse issues, whether it's the first position you take on through the government or the various others that will follow, this is a program that you should consider. So I'll turn it back to Alexis for our next slide.
So now we're going to talk about what happens to successful RPL candidates. Successful candidates are qualified into a pool that's valid for approximately 2.5 years. And that pool, as Sunny mentioned, qualifies candidates for the EC5 to EC7 positions or equivalent groups and levels. So most recruits will be hired into policy positions, but there's also possibilities to go into roles in management, law, and science positions as well. And so that 2.5 years of validity means that if you're qualified, you have the ability to take some time to wrap up your studies or a current contract or explore another job opportunity before starting your search for a career in the public service. You'll also be assigned a mentor, and the mentor is another RPL alumni who's going to help guide RPL candidates on their search for a job. They'll discuss their own career opportunities and also set up meetings with hiring managers, which may lead to job opportunities for the RPL candidates. Under normal circumstances, RPL candidates are brought to Ottawa for a week of interviews, but given the current times, we would plan to have these meetings with hiring managers remotely. The ultimate goal being finding the best fit with a hiring manager based on the RPL candidate's interests and career objectives. And we think that there'll be a lot of opportunities and policy challenges to work on in the year to come. So are looking forward to bringing in a really strong set of candidates in the new year.
So why apply? So there are 3 reasons that we are of the view that this is a program that you should consider. The first is there's an immediate recognition of your talent and prior experience. So as mentioned earlier, when you look at the scale of levels in a policy position role, you come in at the mid to senior level. And that's in recognition of the work you've already done, the experiences you've already had. And it's also great that you can apply at any point in your career. So it's not just for those who are coming out of grad school or just finishing up a degree. It's really for any person at any stage in their career if they're ready to take on something new and something exciting within the government of Canada. Number two is access to job opportunities across the public service. So folks will think of the government of Canada as one entity, and in ways it is, but really it's made up of many departments and agencies, and each of them are open to you as an opportunity to work there, depending on what's available and what your interests are. And as Alexis mentioned, a great part of this program is the fact that you're paired with a mentor. So an alumni like ourselves who've gone through the process, looked for positions within the government, and bring that experience to guide you should you be successful in the process. In addition to that, what's great is, and I reiterate this because it is so different than other programs, is we focus on you. So it's about what you bring to the table and then pairing that with the different opportunities that you may find interesting. So in many ways, I refer to it as a bit of a career dating service, but it's great because it allows you to be paired up with something in some area of work that you'll find interesting and complex and challenging. The third is the dynamic network of alumni at all career stages. So Alexis and I are two of very, very many RPL alumni that are floating around the government. And we have various jobs working in various files at various positions. And what's wonderful about this program is we are a network. So we support each other. We serve as advisors for new RPLers coming in. And we're there to really provide opportunities to better understand what's going on, what files are moving and progressing in different departments, but also a place to really make friends. For myself, I was not somebody who was born and raised in Ottawa. I moved here through this program. So the network itself became the first social network that I had in the city. And it was great because you're actually able to connect with people who've gone through the same program as you. They have a similar interest in working in the public service. And it's a wonderful place to really find a bit of a home within the city. So a bit about myself and why I applied. As I mentioned, I applied and started my career here in 2012. And really, I think, and I hope, like many of you, I had finished graduate school, I had started my career, I was working abroad, but I was very keen to come back to Canada. So I started at the United Nations. I was working on international environmental policy there, and I was always looking at the Canadian delegation, wondering, how do I work with them? And it was really through Googling and talking to colleagues and friends within Ottawa that I found this program. And it was wonderful because it was one of the few that acknowledged what I had already done. So I came to Ottawa in 2012 and I was paired up with Environment and Climate Change Canada because of the work I had already done. And the background that I had academically was in environmental health and international policy. So what ended up happening was the organization that I worked for within the UN, that group that managed air pollution at the time, the Canadian delegation that came to represent Canada was the group that I ended up getting my first job with. So it was a perfect match because it was everything I had learned in Geneva, and I was able to bring it to Ottawa and then serve my own country, which was really the most exciting thing. And since then, I've had 5 different roles within the department. I'm coming in on almost 10 years at Environment, and it's been amazing. And in between the first job and the current job, I was able to work on international climate negotiations, managing some of our partnerships with our key countries around environmental policy, and working for the Deputy Minister's Office, which is the senior most position in any department. So it was really great because you get to see all the issues that the department is dealing with and give advice on those. And then just recently became a director. So in an area that is emerging and new and exciting, which is innovation, looking at how we can do things differently and partner with organizations to advance that, and youth engagement, because young people in this country care deeply about environment and climate issues. So how we as a department can make that happen. So it has been really wonderful, really diverse. Each role has been challenging and interesting, and it's always been a growth opportunity. So this program, if it wasn't for this, I don't think I would be here. So I hope this gives a bit of context, but I'll turn it over to Alexis, who is a newer recruit. I'm on the older end, so I'll turn it to her to give a bit of her experience with the program and what she works on today.
Oh, that was awesome, Sunny. And I'm so glad that people are having an opportunity to hear about your journey in the public service, because I actually remember on my trip to Ottawa as an incoming RPL recruit, meeting you at ECCC and just being so inspired and just thinking, wow, like that is you brought innovation to Environment Climate Change Canada, and just thinking about the opportunities that were kind of ahead of me really, for me, when I was joining government, I was trying to decide whether or not to leave the private sector. And I think that definitely your approach to your different roles made me realize, you know, the opportunities that awaited. So in my case, I studied biological engineering in my undergrad degree, and worked in the private sector in the brewing industry as a brewing manager and assistant brewmaster for a couple of years before deciding to pursue graduate work in environmental policy. And I was very interested in food security and also in the food and beverage processing sector and complexities of supply chains. And so my first role that I found through the RPL program was as a senior policy advisor in the same team that I manage now, and has been a great about a year and a half since I joined, and have had the opportunity to work with so many different stakeholders, visit so many different businesses across Canada, and work through some of the really difficult challenges that are facing companies trying to navigate COVID and the financial challenges that have presented different types of companies, even outside of the food space, as we move around and try and support files where it's needed. And something else that I want to mention is that once you're recruited into the public service, there are significant opportunities to transfer at level across different departments. That was one of the big attractors to me, was the fact that if you decide to pursue other interests, if I wanted to pursue a career in environment, in agriculture, in global affairs, that there's opportunities to almost change your company if you were in the private sector, and work in somewhere with a completely different mandate and culture as well. So I think that from there we can talk about what's next. So if you're interested in applying, and I hope that you are, so if you're interested in applying, the campaign will be open for applications between October 27th and November 9th, 2020. And you can visit our website linked here for instructions on how to apply. If you want to know more, discover previous recruits' profiles, or participate in the live Q&A sessions that we'll be hosting, you can visit our social media pages to get a little bit more info, and follow along with us over the next couple of weeks.
Great. And I distinctly remember when I met Alexis when she came to Ottawa, and I was like, wow, you're leaving this cool position where the title is brewmaster. So, I mean, if we can attract someone with that an amazing title, then I think it shows the diversity of skill sets and experiences that folks bring to the table. And I reiterate what Alexis said. Please do join our webinars and Q&As. It's a great way to get even more context than what we're able to present with you right now. We have a great website up as well. The Twitter account is always active and interesting with a lot of information. But really, what's wonderful as well is we have an email address that you can see below, where if you have any questions, any inquiries, they're able to get that information to you. And the great thing is there's still some time before the application period opens, and it's open for a few weeks. So we do encourage you to consider this. It's a great way to serve your country and meet great people along the way. Alexis, I don't know if you have anything else to add, or
No,
we should say
words.
farewell here.
Farewell, yes.
All right.
Thanks,
Take
Sunny.
care, everyone. Stay safe.